Hey everybody, I'm Chris, and this is my channel Chesapeake Chris. Thanks for stopping by. Welcome back to part 3. This is the last of the Snell knot tying tools. You're probably going to want to see this one though, because both these tools are pretty extravagant. They're pretty fancy, but not necessarily the best, in my opinion.
You guys can feel free to let me know in the comments what you think about these two knot tying tools.
So stick around. Okay, and here's even another Snell knot tying tool. The thing I don't like about this one is it won't do very big hooks due to the distance here and due to how thin it is there where you got to clamp the hook in. And it has these little like pressure plates on them to hold the fishing line. Well, it won't hold really small fishing line like 4-pound test really well, and it won't hold larger fishing line around 25-pound test very well. So I have some 14-pound monofilament trilene, and that's what we're going to use to do this. So the first thing you do is you got to put your hook, you loosen up this little thumb screw, and you put your hook right in that clamp there, and make sure the point doesn't stick out past that part there. Get in there, and then you tighten this thumb screw down. So it should look something like that. Then you take your fishing line, and you want to have a couple inches here, but you put it underneath that pressure plate. Try and do it so you can see it. Put it underneath that pressure plate. Like I say, have a little bit extra line on this end. Then you got to run underneath the hook. Then you come up with it and you wrap it around that wire hook there, that piece, and then you put it under this pressure plate here. And you got to make sure that it stays under this pressure plate. So you got to lock it down pretty good if you can. Then you put your thumb on that bottom pressure plate right there. So it should look something like that. Your fishing line should go under this pressure plate, hook around this wire piece, and go under that pressure plate with a couple inches left here. Then you start to crank this thing like this. And when you crank it, once again, it just wraps that fishing line around the shank and around the other fishing line. And you crank it, I don't know, 6, 7 times. Wrap it around there. Try not to let the line overlap itself again. And when you got it wrapped around there 6 or 7 times, you pull this line out from under this pressure plate down here, and you slide it under this pressure plate up here, and then once again try to lock it down pretty good. So it should look like that now. Now you flip this wire over, and that releases that loop of line. Then you can pull your main line and you can start to tighten your knot up. Then you can loosen this thumb screw and take your hook out. Flip that wire over, pull it out from under that pressure plate, tighten her down real good. And then, as usual, trim off your tag end. And you got yourself a snelled hook. This one I think is not real practical at all. Like I say, it won't do large hooks. I guess maybe you don't need a tool if you're doing large hooks, but it's kind of difficult, and those pressure plates only seem to work with certain sizes of monofilament line. But that's how it works. And here's one that is truly, I guess, automatic, and it's even battery powered. Takes a couple, I believe, AAA batteries. So we'll show you how this one works. First, I got to say, this one is really not made to be used with fish hooks that have offset and eyelets. It's actually made for the eyeless ones. I guess a lot of people call them the Chinese hooks. They make them in China or something. Anyways, it doesn't work well with these type of hooks, but you can make it work. And the reason it doesn't work well is you pull back on this little part here to open up these jaws to put the hook down in there, and you got to make sure you get the hook down in there good, and it's hard to get down in there really far and make it stay with that eyelet on there because of how it's built. But you can get it in there like that if you try. So you put the hook in there, get yourself a length of line. You're going to run it along the back, put it in that groove right there, come around to the front side. You're going to go behind the hook, the line, and then you're going to slide it underneath the line holder tab so that's under that tab. So it runs along the back, through the slot, around the hook, and under that tab. Then you're going to run it over that red tab right there, behind the hook, and back through that slot again so that it's caught on that tab right there. And then you're ready to go. So you got to make sure your hook is down in there good. Like I say, if it's not in down far enough, it won't wrap. It won't wrap it on the hook. So then all you do is you hold down this button until it spins about 6 times. After you wrapped it around the shank 6 times, you take this little red lever and you slide it over to that side. Get your tag line back out like that. And then you just grab the main line and you start to pull. And it'll tighten down right on the shank of the hook. Tighten her down pretty good. Then release the hook. Take it out. And then you can finish tightening down your knot. And trim your tag end off. And then you can always run your line through the eyelet then if you want. I always do. Once I cut this line, then I run it through the eyelet. But anyway, so that one kind of works, but it doesn't work really good on hooks that have eyelets, especially offset eyelets. So, but it is motorized, it is automatic. Well, you know. I just want to say real quick, all of these knot tying tools that I demonstrated, like I say, my favorite that I mentioned, that one, just a little bit of practice and it works pretty good. Probably my least favorite was the silver one that you cranked it. That one was, I didn't like that one at all. It just did not help a whole lot. It was very, very cumbersome and very difficult. Probably the easiest one was the motorized one because I use the offset eyelet hooks. They don't stay in there good, but they do work like I showed. That one actually works very well. If you had straight eyelet hooks or eyeless hooks, it would probably really do a good job. And that completes part 3 of the series of hooks, knots, and knot tying tools. There's going to be one last part, part 4, and it's not going to deal with the tools, but it's going to deal with how to make loops in line, how to tie Snell knots without the tools, and I'm going to show you some of the knots that I use on my hooks, swivels, yada yada yada. So tune in next time.
I think part 4 is going to be the best of the 4 videos. I really want to see how you tie your knots and what knots you use.
I hope you enjoyed this video. You guys know the drill. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up like, share this video, subscribe so you get notified when my next video comes out, and I'll see you all in the next video.